Salutations and welcome back to Let's Play Tales of Phantasia. This is Edgar. In the introduction of this game, our village and family was destroyed beyond salvation, so we are heading to the north to meet up with our uncle in the next town. We will have to take a trip through this canyon, and the trip is as short or as long as you want it to be. Ambushed already. Ambush is a mechanic where enemies will either attack you from the back or from both sides. Since we only have this right now, being ambushed is much of a muchness, but when we start getting squishy party members, this becomes dangerous and you should change your party's direction with the L or R button. Same old swipes and stabs as always, but I intend to change that quickly. Right now we only have a single ranged skill in Scion Bolt, which it just occurred to me I am yet to demonstrate. I will do so next random battle. For now, let's yank this statue with huge tits out of the way. Instructions on how to do so are currently on the bottom of the screen. Or rather they were. We can now pick west or north. North has items but is a long path with a very high encounter rate. Of course that makes it a good way to get our first short range out, but let's check this merchant's wares. I can't really afford much right now, but we will get all this shit for free just by fighting. Nice doing no business with you two smart ass. Anyway, if you want to proceed quickly, head to the west. We will head north because I want level 5. Okay lads, Scion Bolt time. Scion Bolt is a cheap and spammable miniature shockwave that only hits about as hard as a swipe. It's 2 mana, so really you get what you pay for. When we hit level 5 we will receive a far more dangerous art, so what are we waiting for? Let's get to training, boys and girls. We now have Dual Kick. Dual Kick is a short-range art that is capable of hitting 3 times in a single attack at the cost of 4 mana. Let's equip it right away. Do this the same way you did Scion Bolt, except throw it into the short-range slots. Again, you can double up if you feel like it. Dual Kick and Scion Bolt can actually combine to make one art, but that's a ways off because it requires you completely master both abilities, and that means using each 100 times. Now let's carry on up the trail for the items. Well, this is a crying shame. I just got Dual Kick and am confronted by enemies who can only be hit once by it instead of thrice. Oh well, you will all see the triple hit combo when I find a non-flyer. So really, anything up here that's not a bloody owl. Now we're talking. Well fudge, I missed him with the 3rd hit. The last hit actually happens to be the strongest one as well, since it uses the power of your weapon instead of the power of your foot. You dirty prick, how dare you die before the 3rd strike can connect. This is not going well at all. Same exact enemies. Okay, that did not happen. Marvelous. You can see that all 3 strikes in tandem were enough to dispatch the bugbear. Be liberal with your arts, you recover mana every victory. You see the little green number that appeared? That is your recovered mana. Every character will recover it after victory except for Chester, because Chester doesn't use any, he is a badass normal. Now, in the interests of not forcing you to watch monotonous grinding, I am going to ask Tom to largely edit out any battles where nothing of note happens, leaving in only the killing blow. However, this one is a good example of why you do not want to end up sandwiched between two enemies. Look at what happened to Cliss's life. Fortunately, we have the means to repair the damage with the candy our dear departed mother gave us. Apple gummies will restore 30% of your maximum health. We are going to use 2 of them to restore Cliss's stamina. Okay, now that we are in significantly better kit, let's open this box and this sack and see what treasures were waiting for us. Orange gummies are awesome. An orange gummy will restore 30% of your maximum mana, and since Cliss burns through mana like hotcakes, you want as many orange gummies as possible. Think of them as this game's version of ether. There is also a combination of apple and orange gummies called mixed gummies, and those ones will restore 30% of both your health and mana. There are also 60% versions of all 3, but I suggest you carry around the lesser versions anyway because the item cap in this game is a mere 15. Not a whole lot by RPG standards. Now we can exit the canyon and find ourselves back on the world map, boys and girls. Now that we are back on the world map and on the far end of the canyon, we are a mere stone's throw from our dear old uncle. He resides in the town just to the north of here, and seeing as the northwest bridge is split in two, it's either this town or heading back through the ravine to Totus. There are quite a few merchant shops around this town, but we only need to buy 1 item before we meet our uncle. I understand it's only gay if the balls touch. You just keep doing what you're doing, old chap. This is the merchant we will require. What we want to buy is a single rod. The merchant also sells gear for Cliss, and you may be tempted to upgrade your stuff, but I am here to tell you not to bother. Trust me, just buy a rod and nothing else. It's only 10 gold, so if you can't afford the damn thing, then you need some lessons in money management immediately. Hey, fuck you asshole, that's my line. Thieving son of a bitch. Goodness, my inner Charles is acting up. Let me get it under control and let's go meet our aunt and uncle. Here are our relatives. Cliss has not been here to visit for rather a long time despite the relatively short trip. I guess he's not one for family obligations. Attacked is a bit of an understatement. Whoever the belligerents were, they absolutely ended Cliss's home and immediate family. Seeing as Cliss has lost his home and parents, his aunt and uncle will offer to let him stay for as long as you like. And that offer is true, at least until you talk to your uncle for a second time, in order to advance the plot. Since there's really a whole fuck of a lot of nothing to do otherwise, let's talk to Uncle Olsen and do as he suggests, because this is very clearly going to end them well. That's right, Uncle Olsen is a bloody Judas. He gives Cliss up to these rather silly-looking soldiers in exchange for the town's safety. Never mind how the soldiers tracked us here. No idea why Cliss doesn't fight them. It's only 4 soldiers and he has dual kick and shit. Perhaps he sleeps without a weapon within arm's reach. That's a big no-no in the world of old RPGs. And once again we have another understatement. Right, we're off to the dungeon. Enjoy your filthy blood money, Uncle Olsen. We never liked you anyway, you old balding prick. Yeah, I am sure you are, traitor. Meanwhile, back in Totus, Chester has finished burying everybody and their mother, quite literally, when the sound of horses approach. I totally called the Ninja Gaiden reference, everyone. And here we have what you might think is a castle, but it's really not a castle. And do you know why? Everybody knows that there is a simple equation of no drawbridge, no castle. This is merely an elaborate keep. We are taken inside to meet another bloody armored hooligan with an absolutely ridiculous name, but that name will not be revealed to us just yet. By all means talk as much shit about my father as you want. He's half responsible for my rubbish name, so he deserves whatever he gets, the bastard. He swipes the necklace from Kless, which may seem totally innocuous if you did not pay attention to the game's introduction, but I assure you this is a terrible omen indeed. And as for Kless, he is indeed being thrown into the dungeon and left to rot. Before we go, however, take a look into the mirror and remember the ghastly image you see. As you can clearly observe, poor Kless hasn't even got a toilet in his cell, just a puddle in the corner for his sanitary needs. This is likely one of the shittiest cells a person could imagine. And this is the reason I told you to not upgrade your gear and not to grab that sword from upstairs back in Totus. You would have lost all of that stuff when you were taken prisoner here. And all the stuff you lose cannot be recovered, so if you grabbed that sword from Totus earlier, stiff shit, you are not getting the damn thing back. Anyway, you are going to require a sword to pry doors like this open, but the villains aren't rock stupid in this game and did not leave one within immediate reach. There is also a hole in your cell. You must use it enough times to advance the plot and escape from this shithouse. After using it enough times, a voice will gain the attention of Kless. You will see who the voice belongs to in short order. Kless is able to recognize that the voice is coming out of the hole, but he cannot recognize the voice's owner. The voice asks him to stick his hand into the hole, and while this will advance the plot, I feel the need to point something out. As if you fucking would. What if the person on the other side of the wall has a blade or something dangerous that they are wanting to shank your hand with? In fact, it turns out that they do have a blade, but they do not possess the disposition to use it at all. Whoever it is, they have given us an earring, and will tell Kless to use it on the wall, which will magically destroy part of the wall and grant Kless access to the cell located directly behind his own. Because that makes a fuck of a lot of sense. Let's just fall back on the old adage, and say that a wizard did it. Observe. By all means go take an earring and place it on the wall to see if you get the same effect. If you do, then seek help immediately. Now we meet the owner of the voice, and as you can see, I was correct. This person does have a blade, it just happens to be embedded in the chest of her rotting corpse. We're going to be taking the blade because we can use it to escape, and it's undoubtedly not doing her any good sitting there impaling her. We now have a means of escape. Do be sure that you enter the menu and actually equip the bloody thing, or Kless will whine about his bare hands when you try to pry the door open. Freedom, glorious, glorious freedom. Well, sort of, we are still stuck in the dungeon after all. Prying this door open will net you some creamy cheese from a sack, and if you look down, you can quite clearly see a girl sitting there in that cell. Let's bust the fucker open and introduce ourselves to this rather important character. Kless introduces himself to the girl and the girl responds in kind. It turns out her name is Mint, and although it's not apparent yet, Mint could essentially be considered an acolyte or a priestess. It's unclear why she was thrown in this cell, but it turns out she didn't come here alone. She came here with another woman. Her mother. Well shit. Kless takes a moment to tell the biggest goddamn white lie of his life, and tries to encourage Mint to join him in his escape. You can't help but feel bad for the poor girl though. Furthermore, you can't help but notice that this plot just gets darker and darker with every passing second. That's why I love this goddamn RPG. At any rate, Mint can't stay here, so she joins us at this point. Our exit is the bottom right, but before we go that way, this is what happens if you try to leave by the guarded exit. Kless clearly has very little faith in his dual-kicking prowess. Whatever. Also, when Mint is with you, you are unable to return to her mother's cell. It's only a minor detail, but I always thought it was rather neat that the game designers included that to hammer home the drama that she absolutely must not know the truth. Anyway, here is our exit. This grating will lead to the sewer system of this keep. Cliss can pry the bars open just like he could pry the cell doors open. Shitty metal bars are shitty. And welcome to the sewer, which is staggeringly clean considering it's a damn sewer. At this point the game explains that Mint is basically your white mage heal bot. She doesn't actually start with any heals, but she is a mere 1 experience point away from having her first one, so one random battle will do the job. So let's enter the menu and have a look at her stats, and if you thought Chester was a lucky motherfucker, check out Mint's luck stat and pick your jaw up off the damn floor. Enough screwing around though. Do you remember that rod we bought from the merchant? We bought that rod so Mint has a means of self-defense. Not a bad deal for only 10 gold. Now let's get down to business. Scattered around the sewer are a number of items, and the first legitimate boss of the game lurks here as well. Nice of the game to give us a healer for the fight, and just as well, because this boss can really be considered a wake-up call boss. Really? A big scary leech? How intimidating. Anybody got a can of salt? Oh dear god, no, you do not shoot the green shit at me, you slimy little prick. Well, green slimy crap or not, that fight will net Mint enough experience to reach level 3 and obtain her very first heal. Her first heal is called First Aid, and is a basic single target heal. Now if you want to set her to basically spam it when necessary, duck into the menu, go to Tactics, and change her from Help Fighters to Value HP over TP. This will basically let her cast her heals even if the full heal would be somewhat wasted. It's not really a concern though. Cliss is not going to need many heals while fighting the sewer denizens. Anyway, this is a save point and should be self-explanatory, so I will skip it and talk about why Mint overhealing is fine. Remember that Mint will regenerate mana every victory, so if she did not have to cast a heal, that is basically free mana for her. Mint will get some offensive spells later, but they are largely situational and for the most part she will be heal botting. Or rather, for the most part she will be standing around looking adorable because she won't need to heal very much. Do bear in mind though that as a white mage Mint is rather squishy, and while her attack is perfectly capable of making enemies flinch, she does bugger all damage and will take quite a bit. So you want to keep her behind Cliss and out of harm's way. Anyway, let's equip this wooden shield, which raises our run stat, because it makes total sense that you would run faster carrying a big heavy shield than you would run without. That is our good friend logic hard at work, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. This level of the sewer has no further items, so head east to reach the stairway leading to the next floor. An apple gummy up for grabs here. Now, the next floor of the sewer is a bit larger than the first, and this is where the boss happens to lurk. If you do not have dual kick yet, then hurry up. This boss will likely destroy you if you do not have dual kick's high DPS unless you want to play it super lame. You see, the boss is a hard-hitting flyer, and he comes with 2 upgraded leech mobs who will spam the hell out of their projectile. You could stand at the far end and take them out with Scion Bolt, but Tom made it pretty clear to me that doing things the lame way is not what this channel is about, so a slug fist it shall be. That's the boss over on the left. We also collected a new sword just now, and if you go to equip it, you will notice that your slicing power goes down and your stabbing power rises. Different weapons serve different purposes. A rapier is designed to stab, and its stats reflect that. An axe has monstrous slicing power but fuck all in the way of stab. Common sense really? And here we have a new enemy. Oozes that are ripe for joking about due to their rather phallic looking attack. What has been seen cannot be unseen, boys and girls. Sorry Mr. Ooze, I am not that kind of girl. Why don't you go and try your luck with one of your own kind? Nice of them to give Cliss enough experience for a level up though. We are almost ready to take on the sewer boss. Only 1 box of treasure remains unclaimed and it has 1000 gold in it. Does it bother anybody else that in RPGs you find useless junk in chests most of the time? Tales of Phantasia is no different, but at least they tried to be by having sacks around. The point is, this is the only chest we have seen so far that actually makes any realistic sense. I'm not the reason why though. I didn't design the standard RPG formula. Another level for Mint, how handy. There is one path we haven't taken, but it just loops back to the entrance of this floor of the sewer. This one here. We don't need to go that way, so let's get ready to fight the first legitimate boss in the game. Let's first equip our longsword because we need to be able to slice the flying boss. Also let's use an orange gummy so Cliss has some mana to work with. I understand that Tom and Charles do not talk during lightsaber fights. I will maintain tradition and will not talk in boss fights. The Sewer King is no more, and we are now free to make our way to the exit and out of this gloomy keep into the bright sunshine. Let's equip our rapier. We will replace it before long, but the extra stabbing power is neat. Well, would you look at that, Mint actually had to use a heal in a regular battle. That's more uncommon than you would think. Time for us to blow this joint. After leaving the sewer, you will find yourself in the mini forests at plot convenience. When you head southward, Cliss and Mint will stop at just the right spot to be ambushed by a solitary slug who will promptly go Dilophosaurus mode on Cliss. Cliss took about a dozen of those shots to the face during the boss battle, yet this one here knocks him out of commission. And Mint is even standing right there to heal him back up. Plot takes the reins here, and Mint is forced to carry Cliss off before they are caught by whoever is approaching. Where is she taking our hero? You will find out in the next episode of the Let's Play. I will wrap this one up here. This has been Edgar. Thank you all for your patronage.